Alrighty, we will go ahead and get started with our webinar. So I do want to thank everybody once again for joining us here at CDA. Just a few points. We will be giving you some pretty good information, so if you're able to take notes, that would be good. There are some key areas where you'll probably want to document some notes, so I do want to let you know about that. And I also want to let you know that we will, I know everyone's working today, so we will be pretty prompt with our timing. So we will go through this. We will be finished in less than a half hour. And then what we'll do down at the bottom right where you can text questions, I will go ahead and take your questions at the end. But for now, what I'll do is I'll go ahead, we'll get started, and then we'll answer any questions that I may have missed, or if you have some questions that may help develop what we're trying to achieve with mobile guided workflows. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do is I want to bring up this image right here, and then we can see our phone as well. So we have our mobile phone, and now we have this guided workflow. So most of us are probably familiar, if you're using guided workflow, that when your technician is over here on the right, they're in their calendar for the day. Let's go ahead and click on that top claim. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on more. And then if I go to repair, you're going to see the same image that is being displayed. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring our calendar back up. And so the real purpose for guided workflows is to say, hey, technician, you're at the end of the repair. What happened to that repair? Did you complete it? Was it an incomplete? And was it a reschedule? Now, our definition for a reschedule is going to mean that it was an empty home where, you know, we hear a cat meowing, a dog barking, but no one was able to make it to the door. And so what we're going to do is we'll document that. Now, there's a couple of components which makes this pretty powerful for your companies. Main point is that when you select any of these options, it automatically assigns it an in-house substatus. So that's one of the key takeaways you want to take away, is whenever you click on completed, you can have it auto-assigned to an in-house substatus. Whenever you click incomplete, you will have it auto-assigned to an in-house substatus. And then when you click reschedule, that same logic would apply. So what you're doing is you're controlling where the workflow of your jobs go from a mobile perspective. This is very big win-win-win for companies, because you've really funneled down where your work goes and no one's running around, hey, where's that job? Where's that job? It can only be in 3 in-house substatuses. Now we're going to go through all these settings, but I just want everyone to understand what is the benefit and why do we have guided workflows. So that's the first point of it, is each one of these are going to go to a pre-designated in-house substatus. And then secondly, and most importantly, after that, the big win for companies is that you can have required fields that your technicians need to fill out so that you can have better success with first-time completes. So those are the main two purposes of why we have guided workflows. Again, to put jobs in a funneled in-house substatus, and secondly, to try and get more control on required information. So let's go ahead and now take a look at the first part of using guided workflows. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to minimize this, and I'm going to move this phone out of the way just because it's a bit distracting. So the first thing that we're going to talk about for guided workflows is going to be, hey, well, this all sounds good, Paul, but how in the world do we get this set up? So the first thing that we're going to talk about is how do you set up / implement guided workflows. So what you're going to do is you're going to go in this drop-down menu right here, or it's not drop-down menu, it's a menu called Mobile CDA. And then it says Mobile Preferences. So to get to your settings, the menu, the setting, and now what we're going to do is it brings up quite a bit of information, but what we're going to do for guided workflows is we're going to look at this area here, we're going to look at this area here, and then we're going to look at a few in-house sub-statuses. So what I'm going to do is I'm slowly going to go through what all these options are, why we have these options, and how they'll work for you. So first and foremost is we need to enable guided workflows. So in order for that to work, you need to put a checkbox. Now what I want to do is I'm going to move this phone right back over here. Just for those people that are probably taking notes, I want to show you something pretty important. So when you say enable guided workflow, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on a claim pretty quickly. I'm going to go down here to more. And then what you're going to see is it says repair. When you enable guided workflows, the text will say repair. If you do not have guided workflow enabled, your mobile technicians will see complete. It's either complete or completed. It's one of the two. I don't remember. It's been a while now. So that's the first takeaway. If the text say, hey, I don't see guided workflows, I don't see my blue boxes, just ask your technicians, hey, does it say repair or complete? If it says complete, then just tell them, hey, reboot the phone, and it'll come back and it will work. It'll work appropriately. So your first important note is going to be that should say repair. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this phone right back to the schedule, and then we're going to go ahead and move it out of the way. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you guys. Now the second thing I want to show you is that requirements for completing a job. So this is going to be for incompletes and completes. It says, hey, requirement for brand, for model, number, model version, firmware, serial number, and for product code. So let's take a look at that. So what that means is when you're incomplete or incomplete, you can enable or disable these requirements. So that's what it looks like on the mobile. That's what these buttons are associated with. The next thing I want to do is let's go over guided workflow options. So I have quite a few options. The first one is repair service codes are visible. So let's take a look at that. And so right here, service performed. So a lot of companies, it's around a 50-50 split. Some of them want to go ahead and show the requested service. Some service companies don't. It does take up quite a bit of space, which really wouldn't be a reason why you would enable it or disable it. But if you don't, you want to use it, then go ahead and disable it. That way your technicians can capture back this big footprint, and then all of this would go up. So that's a pretty neat tip trick for you. So then the next thing we have is repair note required. So let's take a look at that. And actually, we can just go right here. So on the completed or incomplete, it says repair note. You can make it required or not. Now, another tip trick for you is going to be that when your techs are in here, they can't just type in fixed. It needs to be 10 words or more. So your tip trick is going to be in this area. It needs to be 10 words or more. And then another tip trick I want to share with you is right down here. It says, hey, everybody, be aware, anybody can potentially read your notes. So these notes do go in the comments section of a claim. And these comments could potentially be read by your RSM. They could potentially be read by Service Bench, Service Power, Dispatch.me, LG. So we're really trying to let the technicians know, hey, please use good language and don't use bad language or language that now the owner has to explain why the tech wrote what they wrote. So I do want to give you that tip trick. And so now we are going to say, hey, enable, disable, when adding parts, allow, continue at no assignment. This again will be another 50-50 split. Some companies will love it, and some companies will say, hey, let's put on the brakes. So this means, hey, you can order a part with no assignment. Next is going to say, hey, balance due is required. So if there is a balance due, that means they can't leave, they can't do anything until they take the payment. Again, probably a 50-50 split. Whether companies are going to utilize this or not. And then we have customer printed name at signature is requested. I will show you that. That basically means that the customer needs to go ahead and type in their name here. And the purpose of that, why it's required or not, is that let's say you scribble and then the customer says, hey, I want to charge back and I never signed this and their name was Mary, and they typed in Mary, but they say that's not my signature, but you can say, well, the person that signed it said their name was Mary. So that's the purpose why we have, hey, type in your name. And that's because a lot of times we cannot read a scribble. You can enable or disable that. Next, we have picture of model and serial number is required, and a customer not at home picture is required. Now these right here, they're still in beta development. So we do have an enabled disabled. I do, if you are taking notes, it's not live yet. It will be live. And on the next mobile update, if you go to the release notes, you'll see that we went ahead and made it live. So I do want to point that out. I don't know. So that's going to be right here. Take a picture of the not at home, and we'll get into that when we get to the mobile demo. So this, for a reschedule or a complete and an incomplete, we're going to make it mandatory that they take a picture of the not at home and the serial number. So that's what those two are for. Now what I want to do is I want to get back to our little pictures, and I want to show you something that's going to be important. So see how this says completed? The complete, excuse me. So when your text says, hey, I completed it, what that means is right up here, assign the substatus when job is complete. So this job will automatically go to an in-house substatus of 650. If you want, you can change it to any in-house substatus that works best for your company. So we're just randomly picking one. So again, text says 650, I completed it, complete. I'm going to get the 650. I will show you a live demo so you can see how that works. Next, we're going to say, hey, it's an incomplete. And we're like, okay, that's all right. Incompletes are going to go to 208. Again, kind of pretty logical. You click that, it automatically gets assigned to an in-house substatus of 200A. Again, you can pick and choose which in-house substatus you want. And last but not least, we have a reschedule. When it's a reschedule, pre-assign it to this in-house substatus. And you can pick whatever one you want. Again, your technician says, hey, it was a reschedule. So now you can really see the power. It's like, wow, oh my goodness, we don't have to manage where all of our jobs are. They can only be in 3 known areas. So again, huge win for service providers. So that's going to be the first part of how to set up guided workflows. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and abort out of this. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our scheduler. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move our phone over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it looks like from a technician's perspective for complete, incomplete, and a reschedule, and then how we see it in the scheduler, and then what it looks like in a claim when we do certain actions. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at my phone, and we're just going to go right here on this first claim. We're going to click on it. Again, we're going to go right back to more, and we're going to go to repair. Again, it says repair because we have it in, we have guided workflows enabled. And then we're going to say, hey, tech, what did you do? Now we're going to take the easiest route first. We're going to say, hey, all I heard were barking dogs. We're going to say, okay, so I'm going to click on reschedule. And now it's going to say, hey, tech, why is this a reschedule? We're going to say, well, I knocked on the door 50 million times, no one came. I called twice, no one came. And I have no text. That was supposed to be in my clipboard. So now I have to type some stuff. So I'm just going to type, and then it's going to say, hey, tech, take a picture of the not at home. So I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to say, use the picture. It's going up to the cloud. It says it's successful. And now I'm going to say reschedule. So there we go. It's saving it. Again, this is all in real time, by the way. So everything we're doing. And let's look at this claim number. It ends in 326. I'm going to move this phone out of the way. So the phone's out of the way, and I'm going to show you something. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come to our scheduler and I'm going to hit refresh. Now look at that. It went to 480. Let's take a look. Is that correct? A reschedule is 480. So there's the first huge win everybody in processing department is very happy about. So now let's take a look at what's going to make other people in your company happy. So what we do is we're just going to right click, we're going to say display work order. Again, everything's in real time we're doing. And what we're going to look at is we're going to look at attachments and look at, so in-house substatus, so everything we're doing is real time and everything's working as designed. And look at that, customer not at home picture. So you don't even have to go look for, hey, which one is the not at home. So we're trying to do a lot more with our pictures to get them labeled. So right here, customer service is very happy and your processing department is very happy because you guys will get paid for this job, hopefully. So that is going to be how that works. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the phone over and I'm just going to find the phone. And now what I'm going to do is bring up CDA. I'm going to push it over here. So what we just looked at was a reschedule for this job here. And we can see the in-house sub status change. So now let's go to the second job. So our second job is going to be 065. We're going to click on that. And again, pretty straightforward. We're going to go to more. And we're going to go to repair. And now we're going to take, let's go ahead. We'll work from bottom to top. So now we're going to say it's an incomplete, which is not what most of us would want to happen, but sometimes it happens. And so now here we are. So now we're saying, hey, if this is, the brand is blank, we're going to make sure it's filled in. So anything that is blank, your technicians have to fill in. So let's go ahead and test it. Does it work as designed? So we're going to go ahead and empty that field out. I'm just going to click up here and we're going to say next. And lo and behold, this is going to refresh. Hey, Paul, you need to put in a model number. So I'm just going to put in a model number and we're just going to call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we're going to come up here. And then notice it says, hey, take a picture of the model and serial tag. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of the model serial tag. And you guys can see this again in real time. I'm going to take a model and serial tag. And it's saying, hey, we uploaded it. And now we're going to go ahead and say next. And again, we're in the guided workflow. So we're pretty much telling the tech, here are all the steps we want you to do. Hey, tech, what did you do with all your parts? And your tech's going to say, hey, I made them all good. All parts are holding because it is an incomplete. So we're just going to keep it straight simple. We're just going to say they're holding. You can independently select each one of these. So I do want to point that out, but we've given you 2 buttons here to make it a little easier for your technicians. We're just going to say next. Then here we are, where you can have what was the service performed. Again, takes up quite a bit of real estate, so if you're not going to use it, go ahead and disable it. Next, and I can just show you this if you'd like, so you can see, you can just come in here, you can type, again, making it mandatory for your technician to do something. The next thing we're going to do is it's going to say, hey, tech, what did you do? Tech's going to say, I need to do this. I didn't repair it, unfortunately. Then we have some other information, but most importantly, your tech has to say, hey, what in the world did you do? And he's going to tell you, he or she is going to tell you what they did. They're going to say incomplete claim. And now here's a big win a lot of customers have been asking for. Hey, we want to capture the signature for incompletes as well. So again, here goes that signature I can't read. It says, all right, well, what's your name? I'm going to say, well, my name's Paul. So again, customer calls back, so that's not my signature. You're going to be able to show them, and I will show you guys, well, it said your name was Paul. So we're just going to say sign. Then it's going to say, hey, tech, let me get your signature. And now it's going to process. And again, this is all real time. So now we're going to look, it says not complete. Again, reschedule, not complete. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this phone out of the way. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to come down to our scheduler. I'm going to hit refresh. And then let's go ahead and see if it works. So now here's our incomplete 200A. Go to utilities. And where did we say we were going to put incompletes? 200A. You now know where all your incompletes are. No one's running around. Where's that job? Where's that job? They can only be in one area in in-house substatus of 200A. We're now going to go back to our scheduler. And now let's go ahead and take a look at what we have as far as attachments go. So now I'm just going to move this claim over here. We see it's in the appropriate in-house substatus. Let's click on attachments. And first thing I want to show you is here's the model serial tag that we told the tech to take a picture of. Then here's the customer incomplete PDF. Then if you're taking notes, another tip trick, at the end, we're going to say the tech's name. So this job is assigned, the primary tech is Dan, but we went ahead and said, hey, the primary tech is Dan. Now, what I'm going to do is, because I know most of you can't read this, I'm going to go ahead and open this file in Acrobat because I want to show you guys something real quick, especially those that are taking notes. Remember how I had to type in my name, Paul? This is where it shows up. So when the customer says, hey, that's not my chicken scratch, you can say, sir or ma'am, down below it says printed name, is your name Paul? And I'm going to go, oh yeah, it is. I guess that is my signature. So that's where you find the printed name. So I wanted you guys to be aware of that. And so you can see this is pretty straightforward, pretty exciting at the same time. Not that exciting because it just works. So now let's go ahead. Let's bring our phone right back. And let's do the last one. So we're going to be at 075. So let's click on that. Again, we're going to be doing a live demo. So we're going to say more. We're going to say repair. And again, now we're all experts. It only took us all of 21 minutes and we're mobile guided workflow experts now. We're just going to click complete because this is what, by the way, this is what we all want is first time complete. So this button should be green for money. At any rate, so now we're getting right back to required. So we have all the requireds. Again, we're all familiar with it. And here we are right back again. Hey, tech, I know it's a complete, but I still want to see a picture of the model serial tag so we can get paid for the job. I mean, that's the whole purpose. So we're going to take a picture. We're going to say use it. And again, you're going to be able to make this mandatory or not. Some people will say it's annoying. Some people will say I absolutely champion it. Because this proves when you were there, this is what you have. This is what you took a picture of. It's successful. We're going to say next. Again, hey tech, what did you do? What did you do with your parts? Hopefully you train your techs. Hopefully they always say mark all parts installed because that's what we always want. We're going to hit next. And again, it's going to come out with this big area. Hey, tech, what did you do? What service performed? I'm just going to ignore it for our demo. Again, right back at it, you guys. Hey, what'd you do? Mandatory, what did you do? Hey, tech, be careful with what you say because everyone can read your notes. So again, another one for you guys. Now I'm just going to go right back and it just says, hey, complete the claim. So I'm going to click complete the claim, right back at it. Hey, what's your name? You can make that required or not. I'm going to say my name is Paul, and it's going to say, hey, give me your chicken scratch. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say sign. It's going to say, hey, tech, we need your signature as well. And there we go. One thing I do want to point out, and I should have mentioned it when we were in the incompletes, is that when you do, let's go ahead and take a look at the picture. I'm just going to move this out of the way, you guys. When you say complete or incomplete, that PDF, if the customer's email is in the email area, they will get a copy of the incomplete and the complete PDF. So I just wanted you guys to know that. So now again, we just did a complete and we did it. So you can see right here in real time, this is the one that we said completed. It is in green, which is pretty neat. And then it's 075. So let's just move it out of the way. Let's go ahead. We're going to click refresh. We're at 075, which is 650. So let's just go through the exercise again. Preferences, completed job, 650. Again, no one's running around. Where are my jobs? Where are the jobs? They can only be in 3 areas. Again, it's a pretty big deal. I'm going to go right back to our scheduling dashboard. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click. I'm going to say, hey, display work order. And then I'm going to move it over and I'm going to go right back to attachments. So I'm going to click on attachments and there we go. So customer complete, not an incomplete, who our tech is. So let's double click it. I know, again, I know you guys can't see, but right down there is my name and there's the 2 signatures. It's completely labeled, so everyone in customer service can find it, or the processing department and managers. And then again, more importantly, it says, here's the model serial date and timestamp. You double click it, and there's your picture. So that really is, in a nutshell, how guided workflows works. I do want to point out one thing I was hoping I wouldn't forget was that if you go to our YouTube channel, in that channel, do a search, type in guided workflow, there are 2 training videos for this as well. So that's going to go ahead and conclude our webinar training.